Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation with StarPSX, and StarPSX got a brand new update that gives it some additional functionality. So at the time of filming, version 0.7.0 is the latest and greatest update, and they've implemented MDEC. Emulator can now play cutscenes and movies. Next up here, we're switching from an emulator to an emulator front end, and talking about the very popular iiSU. And iiSU got a brand new update to version 0.6.2. So they say here, this update focuses on patching bugs from version 0.6.1 while adding a host of quality of life features. Steam Grid DB icon scraping specifically for home icons. Platform packs allow you to import sets of platform assets alongside your themes. Experimental ROM-M integration, better asset management, automatic horizontal scroll spacing, subscribe to Mr. Sujano, intuitive touchscreen controls, and even more. And on a side note here, for those wondering about ROM-M, we've talked about ROM-M or ROM in multiple videos here, and it's your beautiful, powerful, self-hosted ROM manager. If you are interested in anything we're talking about, like everything we talk about, links are within that GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. And continuing to talk about cool stuff and quality of life features, this is super niche, but I think super cool. Listen to this post up on Reddit Emulation. I forked MGBA to print Game Boy camera output directly to a thermal printer. Yes, you heard that correctly. Super interesting overall. There is a YouTube video as well. So if you've got a thermal printer handy, this might be a fun project for you. If you are looking for an excuse to pick up a thermal printer, this might be a great excuse. Overall here, the end result is very impressive. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. There's also an interesting write-up going over the whole debugging process. And like everything we talk about, you know where the links are. Next up here, we're dropping the QO from the QOL and adding a T to it. And instead of talking about quality of life, we're talking about Tomodachi life. And if you're interested in Tomodachi Life, Nintendo has a brand new demo available for the game, specifically Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. Now, interestingly, they're not calling it a demo, they're calling it a welcome version. And they say create up to 3 Mii characters and unlock a hamster costume, all which can be transferred to the full game. Next up here, we're switching from software to hardware and from gaming to tech and talking about routers and Reuters in the US. And if you're looking forward to a new router in the near future, maybe the far future, maybe in the next year or so, you might want to pay attention to this. So listen to this headline up on Reuters. U.S. regulator bans imports of new foreign-made routers, citing security concerns. So the article says here, the FCC order does not impact the import or use of existing models, but will ban new ones. And also here, malicious actors had exploited security gaps in foreign-made routers to attack households, disrupt networks, enable espionage, and facilitate intellectual property theft, citing their role in major hacks like Volt and Salt Typhoon. Now, I don't know about you here, but to me this seems very similar to the whole DJI situation in the States, where the States have banned DJI stuff in the future. They call out TP-Link specifically here, and there's probably going to be a whole bunch of other companies that are impacted. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Next up here, we're shifting from non-American companies to American companies and talking about Microsoft and Xbox. And listen to this headline here, super interesting stuff right now being reported about Xbox. New Xbox CEO could make Game Pass less expensive. And there's also a possible Netflix collaboration. Now, if you are interested in this one, feel free to check out the article up on GameSpot. I believe the source of the information is The Informer. And if you are interested, again, you know where the links are. Anyways, they say here, intriguingly, in the same report, Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters said he and Sharma have kicked around ideas for how Netflix and Xbox could work together on subscription bundles. Nothing has been confirmed, but Peters said he wouldn't eliminate any possibilities. So let me know your thoughts on the matter here and what predictions you may have. And the sub-headline here kind of gives me a bit of a chuckle. So it says, Ashish Sharma is reportedly trying to make Xbox more enticing to a broader range of customers. No kidding. You're trying to make the company more profitable by having more customers sign up. It's not rocket science. This to me is a water is wet kind of statement. Anyways, here I am curious to see the future of Xbox if they try to find some cheaper tiers somehow, maybe some ad-based tiers or something like that. I don't foresee them lowering the price of their ultimate bundles or anything like that, their ultimate tiers, but I do see them potentially exploring some ad-based tiers. And I'm curious about this whole bundling with Netflix. That seems a very interesting proposition. At the end of the day here, we'll have to wait and see. And speaking about bundling stuff, next up we're switching from Xbox to PlayStation. And if you've got PlayStation Plus, you might be excited to know that Lords of the Fallen appears to be the big game that's going to be included for April. Next up here, we're shifting from software to hardware and talking about Razer. And Razer has just unveiled their brand new mouse, the Viper V4 Pro. So they say here the Viper V4 Pro is going to be lighter, faster, and more responsive. So the polling on this one is going to be 8,000 Hertz, and it will have the Razer Focus Pro 50K optical sensor Gen 3. On top of that, they say it's going to be more durable, well, at least the scrolling wheel, so they're going optical for their scrolling wheel. On top of all of that, thanks to refined shell thickness and a more compact PCB, so I guess a thinner shell overall, they have achieved a little bit of a weight savings, around 9% lighter than the Viper V3 Pro. And speaking about hardware, next up here, we're talking about the PlayStation, or maybe PSP. Honestly, I'm a little bit confused. I was debating on whether or not to even talk about this one, but I feel that some people might know what's going on here. So let me know in the comments below as to what exactly is this all about. So taking a look here, Linda McMahon says in 2005, everything changed. The PlayStation Portable was released and it did more than make gaming portable. It made entertainment personal, mobile, and always within reach. It was the beginning of life on the go. And then there's a picture of a PlayStation, not a PSP. The PSP wasn't the first handheld here. I'm very confused on this tweet overall. And there are some community notes. So they say here, handheld video game systems have existed since 1976. And the first handheld console with interchangeable game software was released in 1979. On top of that, the PSP was released in 2004. In 2005, it was released in the States. I'm really confused with this. So again, not trying to get political here, not spending a whole lot of time on this. I'm just genuinely confused. And if you know the answer to what's going on here, please let me know in the comments below. I mean, is she a big fan of the PSP and maybe the PSP was a life changer for her? Like, I don't know here. I'm really curious. And speaking about being curious about stuff, next up here, we're talking about Evercade. And Evercade has a brand new announcement here. They're teasing possibly a brand new console. Honestly, I don't know here. I'm guessing it's a handheld console, but I could be wrong. But listen to this tweet. Evercade Nexus coming soon. Sign up to our mailing list to get all the info. I signed up and didn't get any info on the Nexus, probably because they haven't released it yet. Anyways, if you know what this is, let me know in the comments below. If you've got any sort of guess as to what it is, let me know. I'm guessing it's a handheld with possibly analog sticks, but you never know. And speaking about not knowing the future, next up here, we're talking about Epic Games. And it turns out Epic Games have just laid off over 1,000 employees. And they do have an announcement right on their website here, the cause of which seems to be lack of engagement for Fortnite. If you are interested in the entire statement, you know where the links are. And they start out by saying here, today we're laying off over 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, put us in a more stable place. Now, they do take a moment to point out that the layoffs are not related to AI. I am curious if they actually are. I mean, sometimes what a company says and does are two different things. That's just my opinion. Anyways, here it just seems that Epic did not have the money that they kind of bragged to have. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe I'm misremembering. But if I remember, Tim Sweeney often joked about money and how much money Epic has. Let me know your thoughts. On a side note, I took a quick peek over on PC Gamer, and it seems I wasn't misremembering. Listen to this headline here. Tim Sweeney says Epic is losing billions fighting Apple and Google because it can afford to. Jokes that we might run into serious financial problems after a couple more decades. So very interesting that they're cutting staff because Fortnite isn't making enough money. Let me know again on your thoughts about all of this stuff, but I'm wondering if this is big trouble for Fortnite and the future of Fortnite. And speaking about money, next up here we're talking about Ayaneo. And listen to this headline up on video cards. If you're looking forward to the Next 2, you're not going to like this news. Ayaneo suspends Next 2 sales. Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 handheld cost is now too high. So here's what Ayaneo has to say. After the Chinese New Year, when we communicated with our suppliers again to confirm the latest storage procurement prices, we found that storage prices had increased to several times higher than before the holiday. Under such circumstances, the overall cost of the product has become far higher than our current selling price. Therefore, after careful consideration, we've decided to suspend the pre-orders of Next 2. Now, Ayaneo does point out that the Next 2 hasn't been discontinued, it's just a pausing for the time being, which I think is completely understandable if the prices were going to be astronomical for this thing. I mean, take a look at Steam and the Steam Machine, kind of in the same boat. And take a look at the pricing just across the board. Everything now just seems to be getting more and more expensive. And something that used to turn your nose up at the price now seems cheap in comparison with everything else. It's crazy nowadays. And speaking about crazy, as in crazy improvements or Manic, next up here we're talking about Manic EMU. Manic EMU is marketed as an all-in-one retro game emulator for iOS. And it just got a real big update. So at the time of filming, version 1.9.0 is the latest and greatest update. And if you're on iOS, you might be really excited about this one. They've added in Java J2ME support. They added in MS-DOS support, powered by DOSBox Pure. They added Doom support, powered by PR Boom, and even more. Last up, we're switching from even more to even less and talking about AI. If you're a fan of Sora, you're not going to like this news. If you're against AI, you might be really excited about this news. So listen to this tweet from Sora. We're saying goodbye to the Sora app. To everyone who created with Sora, shared it, and built community around it, thank you. What you made with Sora mattered, and we know this news is disappointing. We'll share more soon, including timelines for the app and API and details on preserving your work. Now, the way this is being reported seems that it coincides with Disney and Disney pulling $1 billion investment from OpenAI. And that has some major impacts. So this article is up on Yahoo Finance, and taking a look here, this is what's really interesting. They say even though Disney unveiled its investment in the IPO-inclined OpenAI in December, it appears that no actual money changed hands as the deal was never finalized. And considering it was never finalized and now Disney is pulling that $1 billion investment, that's not good news for OpenAI. So we're going to have to wait to see what happens moving forward here with OpenAI and the whole AI scene. Some people are speculating that this is the beginning of good things ahead in terms of RAM availability and prices. I would argue things are probably just going to remain as they are and probably get worse before they get better here. I could be wrong here, but I don't think so. I think this is one blow to AI, but I just think how big AI is right now, it's going to be a while before things return to normal, if they ever do. Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today, so feel free to let me know your thoughts about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.